Welcome to episode 119 of I Thought I Knew How, a podcast about knitting and life and all sorts. I'm your host, Anne Frost, and this episode was recorded on July 5th, 2024. We are hopping and shopping again. The I-91 shop hop is coming up in August, and there are 6 new stores. So let's go along and see the newly added shops and meet the owners. We'll find out what they have planned for the upcoming yarn crawl through Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and get some ideas to help us plan our attack. Let's get started. The I-91 shop hop has gone through quite a few changes since I first did the hop in, I want to say 2019. I think that year there were 11 or 12 shops that stretched from New Haven, Connecticut to Putney, Vermont, and there was a steady stream of shops along the way. But since then, there have been a series of shop closures, and to be honest, I was a little worried about whether the hop was going to be able to continue, because if something didn't change, there were only going to be 7 shops left. Well, luckily, the organizers did a revamp, and there are now 13 shops along the route. In 2021, I went around to all of the shops that were then involved with the shop hop and interviewed the store owners or managers. If you'd like to go back, those are episodes 62 through 64. The shops that are still involved from that time are Knit New Haven and the Yarn Barn, which are featured in episode 62. U&U, Village Wools, and Northampton Wools are 3 of the 4 shops featured in episode 63. And Webb's and Green Mountain Spinnery are featured in episode 64. This episode will feature visits to Madison Wool and Knit and Pearls, which are located in Madison and Avon, Connecticut, respectively, and Alchemy Fiber Mill, which is in fact a new wool mill in East Hampton, Massachusetts. And as this is a driving sort of experience, between each, as we drive along, we'll have a song. Shall we get started? I think so. I have just made my way to Madison, Connecticut, which is a town I have never been to. And to my surprise, I am an adherent of the app Waze and its ability to get you places safely and quickly and avoiding major disruption. So I let Waze tell me the way to go, and it said the quickest way was to actually get off the highway and go through all of these small towns. And it was delightful. It was a beautiful drive through all these sort of wooded villages of Connecticut. And now I'm here in Madison. As I said, it's my first time here. And I'm here to go in and meet with Dana of Madison Wool and Fiber. And I am parked across the street. And the shop is a little older wooden house looking building. Very cute New England, I will say. I'm looking forward to getting in. It's yellow. It's so sweet. I did see on the website that the instructions were to go towards the back of the building and you would see the entry, not to try and go into the front door because that's where their classroom is. So I'm going to make my way there now, and I'll be back with a little store description for you and an interview with Dana. I made my way in, and Dana's actually talking to a customer right now, which is perfect because I can do a little walk around. First impressions, this place is cool. There is yarn everywhere and roving and some really fun sample knits. I've stepped off into a side room, and it looks like there's a whole big selection of yarns, bulkies and worsteds and rovings, and there's some Edo and there's some Noro. And some fiber spates, which is a new dyed yarn to me. I haven't seen this in person. Some lovely lush colors. Wonderland yarns, that's a yarn that you'll see in quite a few of the shops in the shop hop. They're a great local dyer. And of course, lots of fun things hanging on the wall. I love a yarn shop where they have really bagged a collection of decor items. It's so fun. I see some really interesting hand-spun art yarn here. Let me see if I can get the tag. It's fighting me a little bit. There's a hank here from Homestead Wool and Gift Farm. And it says that it's called Pixie's Crazy Quilt. It's Romney wool and more. And it's like a really thick hand spun that looks like it was spun with like red tinsel. It's so cool. It would be a fun addition for weaving, or a really funky scarf There's several hanks here by that maker. This place is going to be fun. I've moved into the main room now, and I found some ericanite, which is awesome. I haven't seen that since the last time I was in the UK. I don't often see that here in the US. It's a maker that deals in 100% British wools, and it's great. She has some of her fur wool. It does have 3% nylon, but it's spun in a way to make it look like a furry, what are those yarns called that were like so big in the 2000s? You know, people were obsessed with them. I can't remember what they're called now. I've blocked it out of my memory. Oh, spinners, you're going to love this shop. There's all these gorgeously dyed locks here, dangling, so beautiful. It really does have a treasure trove feel in here, which I love in a yarn store. So there's lots of different shelving along the walls of the room, sort of eclectic, different kind of shelving. And then in front of it, there's also different baskets and bins and things like that, all very cute. It's very cutely arranged in here. You really get the sense that there's a lot to really play with. I have found a wall of Manos de Uruguay, so I'm going to stop and poke through that for a bit. There's a really fun assortment of buttons too, and I spy some little ladybugs that I think are going to go home with me for the green sweater that I'm knitting right now. It has been busy in here since I got here, but I think things are settling down. I'm going to go grab Dana and see if we can have a chat. So I'm here with Dana Mankowski, who is the owner of Madison Wool, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about her beautiful shop here. Dana, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Anne.
You have a really fun, eclectic-looking shop. It put a smile on my face as soon as I walked in to see everything. Can we start maybe with you giving us the history of your shop, how you got into it, and sort of what's your thoughts with how you run your shop?
So I purchased the shop in 2011 from the former owner, who was here, I think, for 4 years in just a small part of the space. And when I was able to get it in 2011, I was able to get this room that we're in now. And then in 2017, I was able to get the front space after they retired. So that's a large classroom that we use.
So I had a little time to poke around when I first got here, and I saw some yarn that really interested me. The first sort of set, I would say, are this trio I pulled out that is 100% flax and 100% pineapple fiber, and a blend of, it's called Woody from Haiku, and it's abaca fiber and cotton. And I am so interested in these. Do you have any recommendations or thoughts on how to use these?
A lot of folks, I sort of got in a lot of these scruffier fibers because I have a lot of people that like to knit washcloths and sable runners and things. But other people, have made bags. This I crocheted like a little bag that I use to hold a water bottle. Yeah, the Habu has so many different fun fibers. So yeah, that's just another good scratchy one.
I was trying to get my finger into the Habu and have a feeling of it, because that's the piña fiber one. I spent quite a bit of time living in the Philippines, and that's one of the fibers that they weave with, and it's almost sheer when they do it, and it's stiff but soft. Okay. But it's also much finer than that one. That one might go home with me. I might have a little play with that. And then the other yarns that I got very excited to see were the ericanite line, which I've only seen in the UK because it's 100% British wool. But then also you pulled out this studio linen. Can you tell us maybe about this line? And the linen was new to me, so I'd love to hear more about it.
Oh, yeah. So the maxi wool has been a favorite for people who like a super bulky 100% wool, and it's, it's plied, so it's a little bit sturdier than using, say, like the Crazy Sexy wool, which is a similar weight. Yeah, I had some random dye lot skeins that I just made a pullover, a striped pullover, and fun. I really lived in it this winter. It was lovely. Yeah, her yarns are great. Yeah, the studio linen is just a nice softer linen. Yeah, it's DK weight, so it's really perfect for now. But yeah, it doesn't really hurt your hands because it is a blend of recycled linen and some viscose from recycled linen as well, and then 15% linen. So it is easier on the hands, and it just has a nice drape.
Nice. And that would be perfect to pick up during the I-91 shop hop, which is coming up, and do some final summer projects with that. You are one of the new shops to be joining the shop hop. Do you have anything special planned for those who come as part of the event?
Yes, I have. My friend MC is designing. She's a designer under the moniker Blame the Knots, and she has designed a one skein fingering weight project with my Wonderland Yarns shop color Nebula, or you could use anything, but it's either knit or crochet, and it'll look very similar, so I wanted to keep the crocheters happy. And she'll also be here the first weekend with her yarns that she's dyeing, so we'll have that going on. And then hopefully should be here for time for the shop hop, but I have a new Ching fiber order coming in with some old favorites, so that I'm in their dye queue for now, and they're shipping in July, so hopefully I will have like a lot of new Ching fiber.
Ooh, nice. So really either weekend would be good to come by.
Or during the week.
Or during the week, or whenever. Come on by. So we were sort of looking around the room that we're in earlier, and you mentioned all of your fantastic fiber, and that, and I was noticing also on the walls you have some woven samples, and you were saying that you offer classes here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your classes?
Yeah, well, this weekend we have Jackie Graff is coming. She comes at least once a summer and teaches natural dyeing. So Saturday we have the natural dye rainbow, and then Sunday is an indigo dyeing party. And then we also have, knitting and crochet classes. We do rug hooking and spinning and weaving. The next weaving, I think, is in September. Beginning, you don't need to bring your own loom. We have them for use and for sale. So yeah, you'll learn how to warp and weave and actually do some patterning and go home with a nice sampler on a rigid heddle loom.
Nice. I think that is such a great benefit to offer people the chance to try them before they invest in them, because that can be pricey, but at the same time, it's easy to get hooked when you give it a go. So one thing I like to ask the shop owners is if people are coming through for the shop hop and, it's lunchtime, or they want to spend an extra hour or two in the area, do you have any recommendations for them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, right here on Wall Street, right next door, is a newer restaurant called Como Mango, which does like Mexican, Tex-Mex. For more casual fare, at the end of the street is Jaime Asian Kitchen or Bradley and Wall for quick sandwiches, salads, and pizza. And then, of course, on Main Street is our famous indie bookstore, RJ Julia, and they also have a cafe. And then we have Ham&S at State Park for the beach, and a little farther down from that is Lenny and Joe's and the Clam Castle and, lobster rolls and things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot to do in town.
Excellent. A true New England experience. Get over to the coast and have a lobster roll. How can people find you online and keep up to date with what you're doing?
So if you go to madwool.com, you could sign up for the newsletter or read, there's a calendar with all the current classes. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as Madison Wool.
Excellent. Okay. And I'll find all of those and put them in the show notes for people. So thank you again, Dana, for taking a few minutes to talk to me.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Our first singer has been featured on the podcast before. The song has a bit of a different vibe, though. This is Sarah Angel with I Don't Hate You But Goodbye. I'll see you again as we arrive at Knit and Pearls.
I conquer, I gain, I nourish my brain. You know what to hate, but you gon' do it anyway, and that's really okay. 'Cause I'm loving, I'm not fighting, I'm not saying that I'm righteous, but I know what's wrong and right, and I won't justify bad mind. Oh no, not I flow with the tide of the reunite. Do empathize. If you don't get my vibe, I won't say it twice. Play nice, so please slice my life and accommodate your life. Don't know how you can deny. Sometimes the best thing is goodbye. So done and you've tried. So ship must be abandoned. I just wanted to make you smile. Wanted to show you a different kind of life, but you couldn't open up your heart to me, to me. Sometimes the best thing is goodbye. When you're so done and you've tried. Some are faking and design. Only thing to say is goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. I tried. I don't hate you, but goodbye. I don't hate you, but goodbye. Sometimes the best thing is goodbye. When you're so done and you've tried. Some are faking and design. Only thing to say is goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. I tried. I don't hate you, but goodbye. I don't hate you, but goodbye.
I just pulled up in Avon, Connecticut to Knits and Pearls, and I'm actually really looking forward to hopping into this yarn shop. I've been in this area for about 6 years now, something like that. And anytime someone finds out that I knit, they ask if I've been to Knit and Pearl in Avon. So this shop, more than any, gets mentioned to me. And the truth of the matter is I never have been to Knit and Pearl in Avon, partly because I do have yarn stores that are closer to my house. And so I've always been curious about this one, and I'm glad that this year they are on the shop hop so that I can hop in and finally have a look. So let's go inside. I am still outside of the building, but as I'm going in, I'll say that this is a white building that has a few other businesses in it. One is called Sunshine Market, and the other is a donut shop. So, nice place to find a treat if you need one along the way. Let's go inside. So, I'm in the shop now with the owner, Suzanne. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to me.
Well, thanks for coming, Anne.
I would like to start by finding out a little bit of the history of your shop. If you could tell us how you came to be the owner and maybe a little background of the shop.
Yeah, so I think the shop started here around 2008, and I moved back to Connecticut from New York City around that time. So I started coming here as my local yarn shop. And in 2021, January 2021, the previous owners, there's two women, put a note in their newsletter looking for a buyer. Mm-hmm. I had always wanted to own a yarn shop, but I had a different life and career before this, and just sometimes it's timing. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I have to look into this, and I did. And in May, I bought May of 2021, I bought the shop, so it's just over 3 years ago.
So you're living many of our dreams right now.
Yeah. Well, perhaps, yeah. I mean, I left a very different life. I was in corporate and market research. So, I mean, the business aspect I get, but it's certainly a lot to learn. I mean, every day you're learning, and it's very different, but it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you say is special or unique about your shop?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think everybody has like a different collection of yarns. There's so much yarn out there. But I will say what people when they come in, they always comment on our samples. Mm-hmm. And, people, I think, focus on different things. I would say we're a sweater shop. Like, I like to make sweaters. Mm-hmm. But, we do have a variety of different samples as well. But we're always, and I would say I'm always, like, knitting something, a sample for the shop, always.
Yeah. It's funny you said that because before we started recording, I commented on all the cute little baby sweaters in the one window. And as I asked you the question, I was looking over your shoulder at the 2 samples on the table behind you and just thinking like, wow, the samples here are really great. And then you were like, people comment on the samples. So that I guess,
nice to hear,
yeah, I guess I'm another voice for that. Do you have any plans for the I-91 shop hop?
So specific plans that we have is we're having Connecticut dyers, critical hit dyes come in. So their yarn will be here for the whole time for the I-91 shop hop. We do also have a free pattern. One will be like a cable bobble hat knit, and then we also have a crocheted hat, which is a ribbed crochet hat, because people are crocheting more and more, or it's becoming more in fashion, if you will.
Yeah, it's getting really hot with the younger people, I think.
Yes, yeah, and granny squares, we thought they would be back. Yeah, I mean, even I'm a very basic crocheter, and I made a granny square sweater.
Do you have any other events coming up other than the shop hop?
Yeah, the next event that I've already started planning, because you have to plan these things in advance, is our annual retreat. It's at the Red Lion Inn in Stockbridge, and it's a ton of fun. People come either Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday, and we just sit and knit or crochet in a room. It's pretty unstructured, so people can come and go as they please, but we do have like some learning sessions for both knit and crochet, and then fun activities like sashaying down a catwalk with your latest knit or crochet garment, a bingo game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great group of people.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And I know that inn is really nice too.
It's beautiful. And it's October 31st through November 2nd. So it's a great time of year to be up in Stockbridge.
Yeah, New England, like end of October in New England. That's gorgeous, a good time.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
So if anyone ends up here at the shop sort of around a mealtime, or if they get a little curious about the area and want to spend some extra time, do you have any recommendations for them?
Well, so for a quick coffee and hit a sugar, Luke's Donuts, 2 buildings over, is fantastic. But if you just go down the road a bit to Route 44 in Avon, there's a ton of restaurants. Beans is a really nice restaurant. They actually employ people that are somewhat challenged, and that's a great sandwich place. So I would recommend going to 44.
How can people follow what you're doing and keep track of what's coming up next?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we have a website, but I do have a newsletter that I try to send out weekly. It doesn't always happen weekly, but that's my goal. So just leaving their name and email will keep them in the loop.
Thank you again, Suzanne. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Anne.
Okay, before I go, I'm going to walk around and do a little tour for you of the shop. So you heard Suzanne mention that she did a granny square sweater, and it's really lovely. It's all sort of rainbow colors, great big square front and back. Might have to figure that one out and make one for myself. The samples in the shop really are well knit. I would come prepared for inspiration. Looking at the yarn, I'm sort of in the fingering section. Suzanne said that it's all sort of organized by size, which makes it really easy to shop for what you need. And just to my left here, there's some yarn and soul hanks, super fine alpaca that I'm sure you can imagine feels divine. And then I see like these really interesting braids down here. I'm going to pull one up real quick. This is also from Yarn and Soul, super fine braid. It's different gradients that have been braided together. It's a beautiful effect on the shelf. Moving through, I'm at the window I mentioned before, which had all the beautiful baby sweaters in them. And there's also some great books here to have a look at. And moving through into the bulky section, I'm at like the back corner. And I really am blown away by these samples. Lots of inspiration to be seen here. Some of the brands I'm seeing, there's some Universal Yarns. I'm seeing Malabrigo, some Juniper Moon Farm, which is very popular in New England. Here's one I haven't seen, Germantown Bulky. 100% North American wool from Kelborn Woolens. That looks like a good bulky workhorse type yarn. I can see there's a hat made here out of it. with some knit purl pattern stitches. It has a really nice stitch definition to it. It's a beautiful yarn. I did get to see the hat that has been designed. It's a beautiful cable and bauble hat that will be one of the free patterns available to you if you come through and visit during the shop hop. It's a lovely little sort of maze setup with yarn all the way around the edges and then sort of a central little yarn kind of a room-like setup with the different shelving so you can make your way around the outside and then duck into the middle. And I see some Ella Rae Rustic Aran here that is a lovely wool and silk blend that looks a little tweedy. And these so tempting giant Noro balls of yarn. This one is Viola that she has. I'm gonna make something with those someday. I found some more of the Kelborn woolens. This one is called Lucky Tweed, and it's more of a sort of bulky tweedy yarn, also from Kelborn woolens. And I actually stopped the recording and asked Suzanne about them because I really haven't heard of Kelborn woolens. They're based in Philadelphia. So the first one I saw in the corner is 100% North American wool. Lucky Tweed is from Ireland, and it's a thicker one as well. But she pointed me to some over here too, Kelborn Woolen Scout, which is also 100% wool, and it's more of a light worsted, and some really lovely solids and tonal colors. Like even I'm looking really, and even most of the ones that I initially thought were solids have a nice tonality to them. Would make a really dynamic garment. Those are pretty. I'm gonna have to play around with some of those. And there's one more to be seen over in the fingering section called Camper. Again, 100% wool. So you know that this company is speaking my language. This one is a Peruvian wool, super fine. And again, it has some of those same colors as the one I was just describing, just in a finer weight. These are tempting.
We have a bit of a drive ahead of us to get to our next destination, so I have a bit of electronic pop for us to speed us along. This is Kaii Dreams with Body and Head.
Gotta count to 10. Don't know if I wanna go through this again. Why am I even bothered? Gotta keep my head high above the water. That is what they said. Yeah, maybe I should take it slow. My body's saying yes, my head is saying no, no, no. What if I can let you go? My heart is saying yes, my head is saying no, no, no. Yeah, maybe I should take it slow. My body's saying yes, my head is saying no, no, no. What if I can let you go? My heart is saying yes, my head is saying no, 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 no. Gotta count to 10. Don't know if I wanna go through this again. Why am I even bothered? Gotta keep my head high above the water. That is what they said. Yeah, maybe I should take it slow. My body's saying yes, my head is saying no, no, no. What if I can let you go? My heart is saying yes, my head is saying no, 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 no.
I'm standing outside of Alchemy Fiber Mill, and I'm going to give you a bit of direction on how to get here because it is a little tricky. So first of all, instead of putting Alchemy Fiber Mill in your navigation software, instead put in a restaurant called Daily Operation. And that should take you where you need to go. But I'm going to describe it for you anyway. So as you come into East Hampton, you're looking for the Eastworks buildings. And on one end of the Eastworks buildings, there is a road called Putney Court. And you're going to take Putney Court and you're going to drive straight. And it's going to look like you're driving straight into a factory. I'm actually going to move inside because it's a little windy. But before you get to that factory building, you're going to see a gap and some fencing to your left. Now you're going to turn into that gap, and the paved area is going to go downhill. Follow it downhill, and you will find yourself in a proper parking area. And you'll see the sign for Daily Operation. It has a bear, and there is a ramp in front of it, an accessibility ramp in front of it. Find yourself a parking place, take the ramp up, and at the very top of the ramp, you can either turn left and go to the restaurant, or there's a door right in front of you. You want to go into that door, and you will be standing in an old factory building at that point. So as you come in the door, continue to walk straight, and you'll see some gray railings in front of you. You'll walk all the way to those gray railings, and you can either take the ramp to your left or take the stairs to your right to get down a little level. But as you're walking towards that railing, you'll see the sign for Alchemy Fiber Mill, and they will be waiting for you there. Let's go inside and have a chat. I have made my way into Alchemy Fiber Mill, and I'm here with Claudia and Melinda. Ladies, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk with me.
Thanks for being here. We're so happy to have this conversation.
Thanks for having us on.
So I was wondering first, you are one of the new shops on the I-91 Shop Hop, and you're one of the new sort of fiber destinations that we have here in the 91 area. I was wondering if you could start by giving us a little bit of background about what you do here.
We are mostly a fiber processing mill, so when you come here, you won't see a usual yarn shop like you might expect some other places. But we are passionate about fiber, love building community, and we are here to help bring together farmers and fiber users through our heirloom quality yarns and fiber products.
Here on the table, you got out some of your products for us to talk about while we're here. Should we start with the stuff for spinners and work our way to the yarn?
Sure, yes. Let's follow the usual process of things.
We offer regularly roving that we have created. Our signature yarn is called Elemental, which it's a bamboo and alpaca blend, and we have that available as roving, but we also have some single breed wool available as roving as well. So hand spinners can find whatever makes them happy, whether it's a nice crunchy heirloom wool or if it's some silky, slinky alpaca and bamboo, we've got you covered.
Elemental is not a wool yarn for anyone who's looking for something that's not wool. We've got this alpaca bamboo blend, like Claudia was mentioning with our roving, but we continue the process and made it into yarn for folks who want to knit or crochet with it.
We've got 4 colors. All of them are blended with a lovely sort of natural fawn colored alpaca. And we've blended it with dyed bamboo. We have a blend with a blue color, one which is our mountain mist. We have a lovely green color which is
Gathering moss.
Gathering moss. Why I never remember that name. I love that green, but we blend it with a red bamboo for our crackle. And then we have a blend of blue and green that is really subtle but quite lovely. This scarf right here is made in that, and that color is called Lower Mill Pond, which is right actually behind the Eastwick building where we're located.
You may notice a slight elemental theme to the names.
Which alchemy, alchemist, elemental, all sort of, we try not to be a complete pun on ourselves, but we have had fun naming things.
We really love a good theme.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
And the theme goes on with our experimental line. Experimental is kind of interesting in that experimental could be just what we're working on right then. So it could be a one-off. It could be, and once we get a recipe, as we call them, when we get a recipe that we like our experimental right now is all 100% breed specific. It's Corriedale. It is all dyed for us, and we have blended several colors, and we will most likely experimental, this version, I should say, of experimental will most likely move on to be a regular feature for us because we like it so much. But right now it is what you'll find at the shop hop. Our experimental line is going to be this lovely, I'd say it's a worsted weight, DK worsted weight, 100% Corriedale breed specific. I mean, gushy. Like
It is very squishy, yes.
And about 100 grams, 240 yards of 100 grams. So it's a nice big hank of yarn.
Yeah. And I see you have one other type of yarn down there at the end that looks also very squishy.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Sure, that is our core spun yarn. We are a mill that makes core spun, not a lot of mills do. And we have a couple different options for the core that is in the middle. One of the ones that we've been producing most recently has a really nice, strong sisal core that you can use for seat weaving, and we used it for a footstool class.
So we've got kits made up with the footstools and the amount of yardage that you need in lots of different colorways, and a full instruction sheet for making those core spun woven footstools.
That is very cool. No one else is doing that. That's amazing.
I forgot to mention it is a wool alpaca blend.
Yes.
Most of it. Yes. For the core spun.
Yep. Wool alpaca around 1/8 of an inch sisal twine, basically. So it's nice and strong.
What are your plans for the I-91 shop hop?
We are planning to be, as the rest of the shops will be open, the same core hours. So we normally do not have regular retail hours, but during the shop hop, we will be open all the same hours as the rest of the shops. And we're also planning to additionally have some pop-up vendors that will have some maybe yarn related things or things that we find that fiber folks generally like. You may have seen on our social media that we've got a friend making some yarn bowls for us, throwing some pottery. So we're very excited about that. We'll have some woven scarves, a variety of things.
Will you have a schedule for that so people can time their visit if there's a specific thing they're after?
That is an excellent question. We have an events calendar on our website, alchemyfibermill.com, and the events calendar will list on each of those days. The shop hop is already up there, but we will update that as we get specific commitments from folks who are going to be doing the pop-ups. We'll definitely have them on the weekend days. We're thinking about maybe weekdays too. So if you know you are a weekday shop hopper, let us know whether we should put that on there.
You mentioned the events calendar. Is there anything coming up besides the shop hop that we should be aware of?
On the first Saturday of the month, regularly throughout the year, we always are going to have open spin from 2:30 to 4:30 And then East Hampton's Art Walk is also first Saturdays. And during that time, we have what we call Fiber Lounge, and pretty much bring whatever you're working on and come hang out with us while we work on stuff too. And that one also first Saturdays, 4 to 7 p.m.
So one thing I like to ask all the shop owners, because, people do the shop hop in different orders. Sometimes they end up in towns they're not familiar with. If any of the shop hoppers want to sort of linger in the area for a while, or, it's a meal time, do you have any recommendations?
Oh, there's so much good food in East Hampton. And I should say this because I actually live up in Cummington. And really, until we established the mill here in East Hampton, I really was unfamiliar with East Hampton. Northampton, yes, but I really didn't come to East Hampton. And it is a cool town. It's got a great vibe, and there's so much good food. So let's go from the breakfast. So if I was going to come, if I was on the road early and was going to be here, do not miss Small Oven. Great pastries, great coffee. It's right on Union Street. So Small Oven is fantastic.
Tandem Bagel Shop, really great. And Shelburne Falls Coffee Roasters is always kind of a good default for me. Anytime I can't decide where to go, I end up there.
Yeah.
There's sort of a local chain around here.
Oh,
Lots
yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
Like them.
And for lunch, my favorite place is Corsello's Butcheria, which, let me tell you, folks, the gentleman who owns Corsello's Butcheria went to Italy to learn how to make charcuterie, and the sandwiches are to die for. And if you're wondering what you're going to do when you get home after shop hopping all day, seriously, bring a cooler, put some ice in it, and get some of their meatballs. Because I am somewhat of a cook, and Melinda kept waxing poetic about their meatballs, and I was like, it's a meatball. How good can it be?
Yeah, maybe don't tell my grandma, but they're like better.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the best meatballs in
They're
my
not
life.
slap your mama good. They're like slap your granny good.
Oh, my.
I mean, we got them the first time, and I just looked at my husband with the first meatball and said, I am never making meatballs again. We can just go right to Corsello's. And in the East Works itself, upstairs for lunch, we have local burger. So, all kinds of sandwiches and burgers and everything that goes with that.
I especially love the fried Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah. And if you're closing out your day here, they also have a full service bar service
And spiked milkshakes.
spiked milkshakes. How can you go wrong? Just don't drive after that, right? Hang out, knit there, So they're great. There's so much good food here.
Another place that you do not want to miss is Little Truck. It's this little gem of a place. They started out as a food truck. They also do catering. But anyway, they're in the next mill building over from us, and they're only open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Check if you want to make reservations, but they also do walk-ups.
And truck is spelled Truc, no K. Little Truck. Amazing food. Just amazing.
Ladies, this was wonderful. Before I go, can you tell people how to keep track of what you're doing and how to follow you online?
Sure, you can find us on our website, alchemyfibermill.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, post events in all of those places.
And we're easy to find on both of those because we are at Alchemy Fiber Mill in both locations.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was fun. I hope to be back soon.
We'll go have lunch.
Yeah.
After we have breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you keyed into what a joyful pair of ladies that is, but look forward to your stop here on the hop. As we head home, I have a longer song for us for the longer drive. This is Marie by Humans Win.
Dancing the wildflowers, would you dance in the rain? sing out in laughter. I will sing out your song. I'll echo the image. Yes, I will. Your legacy long. Beauty in sorrow. This is my eulogy for the sweet wild Marie.
A few more things before I go. If you use Google Podcasts to listen to the show, you should already know this, but just in case, Google is discontinuing Google Podcasts. Sometime in the next few weeks, the service will completely end. They would like you to switch over to YouTube Music for your podcasts, which is a different app than the YouTube app. If you've not done that yet, I suggest you do it as soon as possible. Take screenshots or write down your lists of podcasts, get the YouTube Music app, and re-follow your podcasts in that app. Or use this as an opportunity to use another service that is independent of your operating system. I personally love the Overcast app for listening to all my podcasts. That's my go-to. Stitch and Pitch is coming to Duncan Park in Hartford, Connecticut on August 17th. Regular tickets include your seat, a $2 credit for stadium concessions, and entry to one of 9 inning prizes contributed by local yarn stores. Those regular tickets are mainly for those bringing a non-crafter along to the event, because if you opt for the premium ticket, you will also get a cotton tote swag bag filled with items from the event sponsors. Pack along a smaller project you can work on while we enjoy the game between the Hartford Yard Goats and the Somerset Patriots, and be sure to stay late for the fireworks display. Get all the details and order your tickets at ithoughtIknewhow.com/stitchandpitch. With this, I am off. I will be back to Shetland for my last stint on the Mackinac Our Way Through Shetland tours. There are still spots available for the 2025 tours. Check the show notes for a link to that. But what that means is I will be in Shetland for about 2.5 weeks. Life is sometimes such a struggle, let me tell you. Despite being away, part 2 of the Shop Pop Update episodes has been recorded and should be headed to your device soon. Until then, thank you for listening and knitting with me for a bit. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review the show in the app you use to download it, and I'd love it if you'd share the episode with a friend. The show notes are where you will find links to the things mentioned in the show, so be sure to check those out. Find me on my social media accounts as I Thought I Knew How, except on X, where it's just Thought I Knew How. The groups on various platforms are all called I Thought I Knew How Podcast. Until next time, may you be blessed with stitches that never drop, yarn without joins, and plenty of time to knit.